but small pieces of venesta wood served admirably as plates for seal steaks. Stews and liquids of all sorts were served in the aluminium sledging mugs, of which each man had one. Later on, jelly tins and biscuit tin lids were pressed into service. Monotony in the meals, even considering the circumstances in which we found ourselves, was what I was striving to avoid. So our little stock of luxuries, such as fish paste, tinned herrings, etc., was carefully husbanded, and so distributed as to last as long as possible. My efforts were not in vain. As one man states in his diary, "It must be admitted, we are feeding very well indeed, considering our position. Each meal consists of one course and a beverage. The dried vegetables, if any, all go into the same pot as the meat, and every dish is a sort of hash or stew, be it ham or seal meat or half and half. The fact that we only have 2 pots available places restrictions upon the number of things that can be cooked at one time, but in spite of the limitation of facilities, we always seem to manage to get just enough. The milk powder and sugar are necessarily boiled with the tea or cocoa. We are, of course, very short of the farinaceous element in our diet, and consequently have a mild craving for more of it. Bread is out of the question, and as we are husbanding the remaining cases of our biscuits for our prospective boat journey, we are eking out the supply of flour by making bannocks, of which we have from 3 to 4 each day. These bannocks are made from flour, fat, water, salt, and a little baking powder, the dough being rolled out into flat rounds and baked in about 10 minutes on a hot sheet of iron over the fire. Each bannock weighs about 1½ to 2 ounces, and we are indeed lucky to be able to produce them. A few boxes of army biscuits soaked with sea-water were distributed at one meal. They were in such a state that they would not have been looked at a second time under ordinary circumstances, but to us on a floating lump of ice over 300 miles from land, and that quite hypothetical, and with the unplumbed sea beneath us, they were luxuries indeed. Wild's tent made a pudding of theirs with some dripping. Although keeping in mind the necessity for strict economy with our scanty store of food, I knew how important it was to keep the men cheerful, and that the depression occasioned by our surroundings and our precarious position could to some extent be alleviated by increasing the rations, at least until we were more accustomed to our new mode of life. That this was successful is shown in their diaries. Day by day goes by much the same as one another. We work, we talk, we eat. Ah, how we eat! No longer on short rations, we are a trifle more exacting than we were when we first commenced our simple life, but by comparison with home standards, we are positive barbarians, and our gastronomic rapacity knows no bounds. All is eaten that comes to each tent, and everything is most carefully and accurately divided into as many equal portions as there are men in the tent. One member then closes his eyes or turns his head away and calls out the names at random, as the cook for the day points to each portion, saying at the same time, "Whose?" Partiality, however unintentional it may be, is thus entirely obviated, and everyone feels satisfied that all is fair, even though one may look a little enviously at the next man's helping, which differs in some especially appreciated detail from one's own. We break the 10th commandment energetically, but as we are all in the same boat in this respect, no one says a word. We understand each other's feelings quite sympathetically. It is just like school days over again, and very jolly it is too for the time being. Later on, as the prospect of wintering in the pack became more apparent, the rations had to be considerably reduced. By that time, however, everybody had become more accustomed to the idea and took it quite as a matter of course. Our meals now consisted in the main of a fairly generous helping of seal or penguin, either boiled or fried. As one man wrote, "We are now having enough to eat, but not by any means too much, and everyone is always..."